Ram Slender Man here. I just wanted to. So I made a YouTube short about the Spal wiring for the, like the relay harness. So I did a quick YouTube short on that, but I wanted to kind of give you guys a more in-depth view on like what I did and what my problems that I thought I was having, internally, like, being scared to mess with the wiring and wanting to get it ran the way how it is from the factory. So let me just show you guys here really fast. This is the Spal wiring kit, as I said, the 195, right? So it comes with all like the wiring, your fuses, your little hookups and connectors, and the thermostat. But I didn't use that, and you probably won't be using that either. So I actually have mine hooked up to where it'll come on as if it was factory. So I used the factory wiring. So let me show you guys exactly what I did with my setup, and then hopefully this will convert over to you guys' setup. So here is my relay right here. I just put it right there, that way it's quick and easy to access. So my trunk, or my battery, is in the trunk. So here's my junction spot where it comes from the trunk to the front of the car. So this, I know it's red here, but this is just for the inline fuse, but the wiring's actually yellow. So I'm gonna give you guys I'm gonna go with the diagram here and then kind of show each thing. So then I'm basically gonna be walking you guys through the whole setup. So as I said, this is the 195 kit. This is the 195 kit with everything, the relay, the wiring, all that good stuff, all that. Cool, boom. So look, this is how it's shown that it should be ran for the single fan wiring. That's all good, legit, right? But see, before I get into that thought, so this is that. This is for the dual fan, right? So you got your wires that do this, and it does a that, and then it does a that, and then it works. Cool. So here's this part where it shows the wiring, the red, gray, yellow, orange, black, fuse holder, all that good stuff, right? So basically, if you never really messed with wiring too much before, or if you have, but you're kind of hesitant on doing the job because you don't want to get anything messed up or mess up your wiring or anything like that, that's where I was at, right? I was literally doing this yesterday. That's where I was at. So I want to give you guys a rundown of what each thing basically is supposed to do and how I have it to where it'll work in the car, right? So you see how it has the red wire, shortened red wire from the relay as needed, goes to the fan pigtail with predetermined yellow crimp, right? So it's talking about this wire here. You see this red one that's down there, the thick red one? That one goes to the fan itself. That one goes to the fan, right? No problem. The plug for the fan, cool. And then the negative side of the same plug goes to a ground, which I got grounded right there, right? So red wire goes to the positive side of the fan, which it says that's where it's supposed to go. The gray wire, right? Connect the thermostat stud sending unit with the blue ring terminal. Now let me show you guys here, because this was like a tricky one for me. And like I said, I kind of do wiring somewhat, but this was still outside of my normal, realm. So I was a little bit hesitant on doing things like this, but I was able to get through it. So I want to help you guys get through it too. That same gray wire, this basically acts as a ground, right? So that sending unit is basically a ground. So what I have done is, this is the plug that will plug into the fan. Like, so this end goes to the fan, and this end is actually part of the relay, like the harness for the car. Like, this is the actual fan relay, or not the fan. I mean, it is for the fan, but this is the actual harness for the car, where it runs along the side and through and goes where else and goes where else. This is that plug. So this is where you want to put your focus to. The gray wire, like I said before, is just a ground wire. But if you have it hooked up to a ground all the time, it'll make the fan want to turn on, as it say per the instructions. Where is it at? If using Teflon tape, please verify enough that the thread's body contacts the metal insertion to make sure it gets a good ground, right? That was paraphrasing, but that's basically what it is. So this has to see ground, right? So what I did was, for the actual fan plug on the harness for the actual car, I have it hooked up to this ground wire here for that fan. That's where I have it hooked up at. So this wire is constantly seeing ground all the time, which I verified because, like I said, that's for the fan. So this sees ground all the time. Now, what actually triggers it is the orange wire here. It looks kind of red in the video, but this is orange. This orange wire is an ignition wire. This is supposed to see a switch 12 volt, right? I can have it touching like that because the battery's not hooked up. But this is a switched 12 volt line, right? So now if we follow back, I know we skipped the yellow. We're just gonna do the orange real fast because that was the next thing. So connect to ignition switch, 12 volt when the engine is on the run position. If you hook up to constant 12 volt, the fan will continuously run even when the engine is hot and the ignition is turned off. Okay? So, no problem with that. Like I said, this ground wire is for switched. Now, here's the part that was the big ooh, ah moment for me. The positive side of the same plug for the harness that routes all throughout the car, this is a positive wire, but it will not see 12 volt until the car tells for the fan to turn on. So the ECU commands this to receive 12 volt. So even though the car is running, and I verified this with the key on, this wire does not get any type of juice. This is still just a dead wire only up until the computer, the ECU, sends the signal to turn it on via your engine coolant temperature sensor. When it's time, when that hits that certain range, you know, whatever the car has it set at, whatever it's set at, but I'm running Honda, so I have mine set at a different value. Whenever that value is reached, this plug here, sensor, it'll send it to the ECU, which will then send it to the fan switch in the back there. Then the fan switch will then turn this on. So even though it's not quote unquote a switched ignition source, it still is because the ECU will tell it to turn on. So that's basically switched. So I have this gray wire or the orange wire hooked up like so, right? I mean, you see what I'm trying to do here. When that's touching here, this will work just fine. Like I said, it won't do anything. The fan, I mean, you see it popping off, but that's supposed to connect to there, right? So your gray wire connects to the black side, the negative side of the switch, or I mean of the fan, and the positive side connects to the orange wire. But like I said, this does not stay constant, right? The only way this will stay constant is if you do the jumper switch in the back. You put a paper clip or something in there in the back to make the fans run all the time when the key's on the on position. That's the only time that this will stay hot like that. But this does not. This wire here, the blue one, positive side, it does not get 12 volt unless it's commanded. So that's basically my ignition switch, right? So that's that. And then what else is next? And then this is for the power wire. So this is the yellow wire that was shown in the instructions here. Yellow, connect the positive battery terminal using a fuse holder and the yellow terminal per diagram, right? So as you see here, we have the yellow wire fused to battery, basically like my setup here. Then we have orange wire to the ignition, which goes to the positive side. Again, the positive side of the fan, right? Now, like I said, this plug is for the harness throughout the car, not the actual plug for the fan. This is the plug for the fan itself. This is for the harness. So your stock fan, this plug will actually plug into the fan. Like, this is the plug for that. But I have an aftermarket fan anyway that I just ripped the plug off, and that's what I'm using because I want to see if this is going to work. So like I said, so yellow goes to the positive, orange goes to the ignition. But like I said here, the positive side of the fan, it only turns positive once the ECU commands it to turn that on. Now, I'm saying that a couple different times because it took me a couple different times for me to say it to myself before it finally made sense. And then once I did it, it made even more sense. So I really wanna explain to you guys that it's not hard at all to do. So the yellow wire. Oh, this is mainly for folks that have Honda or they have like Fuel Tech or whatever, chipped ECU, whatever. Your stock, if you have a stock Civic, this probably won't help you out because if you're looking to do this, then you must be in like really high temperatures, like, you know, like 100 degrees all the time, whatever like that, and trying to upgrade. But this is mainly for like performance. So let me show you guys again, just so I can give you guys the breakdown. Orange, positive side of the fan. This guy here, positive side of the fan. I know you guys know the colors, but just like I said, this is for the folks that are really on the fence and really want as much help as they can possibly get to installing this, because I didn't have it, so I'm here to give you guys that. So orange to ignition, yellow to the battery. Now you see how you can have an optional cooling fan override switch, but you see how it goes to the ground? See how it goes to the ground? That kind of basically told me that the sensor is a ground. The gray wire, that's basically the ground. But like I said, I have it all the time, so it's always grounded, right? So the gray wire goes to the negative side of the fan. What else we have here? The fan itself has a red and blue wire. Well, it's just a red wire on my side, but that same red wire goes to the red wire of the relay. Okay, guys? So before I cut this out, I just want to show you guys again really quick. This is basically my 12 volt, because like I said, the battery's in the trunk. 12 volt, the yellow wire, constant power. No matter what, constant power. The red wire here goes to the fan. The gray wire goes to the negative ground on the fan switch. And then the orange wire goes to the positive side. Now, why is that like that? I'm going to give you guys a second to think about it, and then I'm going to say it again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The orange wire goes to the positive side, but this wire does not turn positive until the ECU tells it to turn on. So it's basically the ignition switch. Black wire, the ground, goes to the ground, or goes to the gray wire, okay? And that's basically how it is. I just spent 13 minutes, about to be 14 minutes, making it super easy for you guys to do. Like I said, now that I've done it, super easy. I've even confirmed with the Honda to make sure that it works. I turned it on, the Honda, and I sent power to the fan, and the fan turns on when it's supposed to. So I know that this is gonna work. So I'm gonna trim up these wires, have it all looking nice and good, have it tucked away, and it's gonna be good. So, like I said, guys, I just want to make this easy for y'all. The Spal wiring, Spal fan, and this is for if you want to have it hooked up just like factory. Just like factory. It'll work as is. It'll turn off as is. I'm not using the thermostat that came with the kit. I'm using the stock factory setup, as you see here. So I just want to show that to you guys really fast, and hopefully that you guys can get this all figured out and get it situated, and you'll have working fans, and you won't overheat like how I am. Well, I do two things. So, but yeah, guys, y'all take it easy. Any questions, anything like that, Drop it in the comment section. Give a like, subscribe. If you want to see more Honda things, I'm probably going to do a video about the car, like everything that I've done to it so far, and where I'm at. So, car's running good, but just wanted to make this video for you guys because I didn't have it for myself. Oh, this is the ground for the ground side of the fan. For the fan plug, the negative side, that just goes to there. That just stays ground. So, all right, guys, y'all take it easy. Bye.